How's it going, everyone? Today, this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I don't know if you can tell, but behind me there's a bit of a storm going on, so please try to ignore that. If you're wondering why I'm recording a video during a storm, it's because I feel like recording a video right now. And I don't know how long this is going to last, so I might as well record while I'm in the mood for it. I'm making this video to sort of provide a bit of an update as to what's been going on. If any of you watching this are active in my Discord server, you may know that I made an announcement about 2 weeks ago, where basically I said I was going to be going on hiatus for a little bit due to some things that were going on in my personal life. Now, I'm going to be honest, I wanted to make a video like this for around a year now. I wanted to make one at the end of 2025, because 2025 also just wasn't that good of a year for me. In short, though, one of my friends, I found out they weren't exactly the greatest person, and our friendship basically ended overnight, which, if you've ever been in that position, it's not very fun to just lose a friend, especially a really, really close friend that you've had for, like, 4 or 5 years. Since that friend in question was very heavily involved with my friend group, it led to a lot of issues between, a lot of my friends, and it was just not really a good time. But that went on for most of the year. I thought 2026 would be better, and it has not been at all. One of the main things that has made 2026 so just stressful and not exactly good for me was, as I mentioned in my Discord announcement, an ex-friend of ours had been harassing me and some of my other friends for most of the year, since around January. I do have some good news, though. In the 2 weeks that I have taken my hiatus, this person has stopped. Even though this person is no longer continuing their actions, the damage is already done. Therefore, I feel like it's relevant to talk about it here, especially because I did mention it in my announcement. Now, we did block them on multiple accounts, but it didn't really matter. They had other accounts and were still trying to get in contact with us regardless, and when we blocked them, they would just make a new YouTube video about us, so it didn't really amount to much. Now, keep in mind, this person was not somebody that we knew in real life. This was somebody that we had met online. But irregardless of that, the stuff that they were doing was still bad enough to get me and some of my friends to fear for our safety. After all, we knew this person for around 3, almost 4 years, and who knows what information they knew about us. They knew our names, the state we lived in, potentially the town that we lived in. There's no telling what they could have released about us or what they could have done. But, as I said, this has been resolved, and everything is good now. But as I said, even though this has been resolved, I still feel it's important to bring up, considering this played a big part as to why this year had not been very good for me. As well as dealing with this, I was also dealing with another decently popular Hello Neighbor fan game developer that was shit-talking me, my friends, my work, and basically everything that I had done over the past year. I'm not going to say who this person is as of now. I'm sure some of you watching this may know who this person is, but if you do, I kindly ask you to not go over and, send any hate or any harassment or anything like that, because that will solve nothing. It is not your responsibility, nor should you go and attack them on my behalf, okay? That is not the environment that I want to facilitate. If you do that, you will not be welcome here anymore. Plain and simple. And honestly, I like to think of myself as like a relatively, I think I've developed like a thick skin over being on YouTube and just on the internet in general for most of my life. People have called me basically every single name under the sun. I don't really take to heart what random people on the internet have to say. That said, I'm not entirely opposed to criticism, so if someone goes in the comments of one of my YouTube videos and says, hey, I don't like how you edited this part, or I don't like the way you worded what you were saying here because it wasn't really clear what you were saying or the point you were trying to make or whatever, that's fine. I don't really have an issue with that because I will take it into account. I'm not going to just brush you off and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, because while I do make the videos for myself and I try to make videos that I find entertaining, I am still willing to make changes for the sake of my audience, people watching. If you want proof of that, go to my most popular video and read the comments. You'll see no shortage of comments calling me annoying, saying I repeat myself too much, and there's probably 200 comments making fun of the fact that I said deformable snow so many times. And I think I did poke fun at this. I think I made jokes about it. Obviously, I was making jokes more about myself and about the video itself, not the people who left those comments. But in the second Red Dead Redemption 2 beta video, I took the criticisms. I made it a lot more structured, instead of it just being me rambling about random stuff for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long that video was. So I'm not opposed to criticism, obviously. The reason in particular why the stuff this person says matters more than anyone else, which, truthfully, what they say doesn't matter more, but I come to find out that 2 people that I was working on H&R with went behind my back and were talking shit about me. 2 people that you trust going behind your back and shit-talking you while not at all communicating the feelings that they have towards you or towards the game that they are contributing to really got under my skin. Again, I should be clear that these two people, I've talked to them and like we're on good terms, so don't worry about that. And to be clear, I'm not still mad at them, but I am bringing this up because I feel like, again, it's relevant given the subject of the video. Again, another reason why this game dev was such like a contributing factor as to why this year hasn't been good for me isn't necessarily the stuff that they've done towards me. Again, they've shit-talked me a lot, but like, I can, that's whatever. The stuff that this other fan game developer has said and done in regards to my friends has been really fucked, to put it simply. I have plenty of things that I could talk about in regards to that, but I'm not going to, because that would make this video way too long and it would be incredibly off topic. I'll save that for another time. But just know that this other fan game developer was heavily involved with some of my friends, and it led to a lot of issues simply because this person is just very, I don't like using the term toxic, but very toxic. He's not a good person to be around. But the stuff that they have been doing has been following me, since I'm so closely associated with it, for most of the year. So while I was dealing with an ex-friend harassing and stalking me, more or less, while I was dealing with people that I trusted going behind my back and talking shit, I was also dealing with this other dickhead causing a whole host of other problems that I had to be involved in simply because it was people that I care about. But I did finally put my foot down in regards to that, and I said, like, we're done associating with these types of people. Like, we need to fucking stop, because this is, like, making all of our lives hell. We weren't involved with these people because we liked being involved in drama. It was because some of the people that were involved were fine. It was just the few that weren't that were causing problems. And we can't exactly cut those people out without cutting out the good people, too, if that makes sense. So we kept those good people, but those bad people were also somewhat associated, and that led to a lot of issues being brought up, and it's a long thing. But I've been putting my foot down and trying to put an end to all of that, because it is fucking just draining. When you just want to get on the internet and just, like, make games with friends, or make games on your own, or just make, YouTube videos, silly little YouTube videos, it gets really hard when there's just toxicity everywhere you go. And that's why I stopped making Hello Neighbor content. And I want to clear that up as well, because I did make an announcement on my YouTube channel. I made a community post saying that I wouldn't be doing any more Hello Neighbor content for the foreseeable future, with the exception of stuff relating to H&R, because that's my game, I feel like that's fine, and the Hidden Spirits video simply because I said I would do that at some point. But then, maybe a month after that, I made a Hello Neighbor video about the basement chase in Alpha 2. And I was called, like, spineless for doing that, because why would I, immediately say I'm done with it and then go and make a Hello Neighbor video? Like, is it because the game was becoming popular again? Is it because I'm trying to capitalize on that? No. While it is true that I make money off of YouTube videos, and I do like money, who doesn't, I am not going to sell myself out into making content that'll make me more money. People who have been around since the Red Dead 2 content will know this. I purposefully stopped making Red Dead 2 content, even though I knew I could get money from it, because my Red Dead 2 videos were some of the best performing videos I've ever made, but I stopped doing them simply because I didn't have anything else to do. While it would have been easy to just regurgitate old content or make videos about stuff that people have already done, I decided not to do that simply because I want to stick to making content that I like, and I don't want to just be known as the Red Dead 2 guy. And the same thing with Hello Neighbor as well. I will say this, though, I have a lot more ideas in regards to Hello Neighbor content than I did Red Dead 2 content, but I'm still not going to do them. Not because I don't care about Hello Neighbor. Let me make it clear for everybody watching. I do not like the full version of Hello Neighbor. I think it's bad. I think it's honestly one of the worst games I've ever played. The level design is awful. The gameplay is awful. The only positives that it has is the music is pretty good, and the game is really well optimized. But everything else about it is not good. But with that said, I grew up with Hello Neighbor. I was there when the pre-alpha came out. So I've been here from the very beginning. Ever since Oompaville made his video on the Hello Neighbor pre-alpha, I was there. Some of you probably don't even know that Oompaville used to make gaming videos. But I did. Make no mistake, I'm not just some guy who sees that Hello Neighbor is popular and just decided to hop on the trend and make Hello Neighbor content. That's not at all what it was. I made Hello Neighbor content because I found it interesting. Regardless of my feelings about the game, it still holds a special place in my heart, and it always will. I like the idea of Hello Neighbor. I do not like the execution of that idea, but I like the idea. And that's my whole reason for making H&R. Truth be told, I've been here for a lot longer than most of you have. Not that that's an accomplishment or anything, but I'm saying that specifically so that you know that I'm not just hopping on this trend of making Hello Neighbor videos simply because it's popular or it'll make me a ton of money or whatever. No, I'm making these videos because they hold a special place in my heart. They matter to me. Like the Alpha 2 basement chase. The reason I made that video wasn't because, oh, Hello Neighbor's popular again, so I'll make a video and make a ton of money off of it. No, it was because this was something really cool that was discovered in my favorite build of the game that I would have freaked out if I saw that as, 10-year-old me. And that's why I shared it with everyone else, because I thought everyone else would find it cool. So I decided to make a video on it. Recently, I found out someone made a plugin to enable the developer console in the pre-alpha and alpha 1. That's pretty cool, but I'm not going to make a video on it. Well, mainly 1, because I just don't think I could really talk about enough to warrant a video there. But also 2, because I know that I'd get a ton of people saying, oh, I thought you said you were done with Hello Neighbor content, and I'd rather just not deal with that. Will I make Hello Neighbor content in the future? If something major is uncovered, like, I don't know, a fucking prototype build, which doesn't exist, by the way, stop spreading misinformation, there is no build of the prototype, or something, then maybe. But for the foreseeable future, no. And like I said, a big part of it is simply because of the Hello Neighbor community. That community is so full of toxicity, and it's so full of negativity and just hatred. I want nothing to do with it. I don't want my community being anywhere close with that. And people like that other fan game developer that was shit-talking me facilitate that community. I was called the problem in the Hello Neighbor community, simply because I'm working on H&R. What they fail to realize is them acting the way they do, shit-talking me, shit-talking my friends, shit-talking people working for them, shit-talking even their own fans at times. That is the problem in the community. Like, if you've made a Hello Neighbor fan game and you want to be proud of it, go ahead. I'm proud of mine. Be proud of what you've done. Be proud that you were able to create something. That's good. But don't go around treating other people as if they're lesser than you because their game doesn't live up to your expectations. The Hello Neighbor community is in a really bad space right now, and has been for quite some time, and there's a reason why so many people have left, myself included. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be better. There's a lot of negative people in that community, but it might fall on you to call that out when you see it. The reason why the Hello Neighbor community is so bad is because that behavior has been normalized, and there's a lot of people who don't want to speak up when it happens. But sometimes you have to be that person, because nobody else will. You might make a change. You might be the catalyst that starts the change. And maybe the Hello Neighbor community will be a more accepting and more positive place in the future. Come together as a community and support each other. Instead of dividing this community off into little subsets that all are like beefing with each other, don't do that. You guys are all one community. Come together as a community and be cool with each other. I'm tired of everyone arguing about the best Hello Neighbor fan game, because there is no best Hello Neighbor fan game, truthfully. Every single game is catered to a different audience. Not every single person is going to like one game over another. It's entirely subjective. Like, I did make a TikTok promo, and I referred to Hello Neighbor Reborn as the definitive Hello Neighbor experience. Which, yeah, obviously, I'm promoting the game. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, it's okay. Might not be, though. I'm promoting the game. Yeah, I'm going to say, like, it's the definitive experience. But even then, when I say the definitive experience, I don't necessarily mean, like, this is the objectively best version of the game. The term definitive itself means, like, the best version of something. But best is a very subjective word. Oftentimes when people say, this is the best thing ever, they don't mean, like, this is definitively the greatest thing ever, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong. They use it to say, this is my favorite. Favorite being a subjective term. It's rooted in preference, not objective fact. I'm not treating other fellow fan games as competition. Like, me and Owen, who made Hidden Spirits, me and Owen are cool. We're friends. I don't sit here and like, oh, God damn it, Hidden Spirits is on the front page again, and it's above H&R, God damn it. Like, I don't care. I don't view Hidden Spirits as competition. And truthfully, I think that Hidden Spirits, when it's done, will be better than H&R. I don't think that H&R will be the best Hello Neighbor fan game. It probably won't be. Like, me and Owen are cool. Never at any point have I ever viewed Hidden Spirits or Owen as competition, or any other fan game as competition for that matter. I think it's such a stupid thing to do, because, like, at the end of the day, like, all of us are just kind of getting our moment in the spotlight. I guarantee you, once H&R comes out, like, the full release, people will talk about it for 3 months, if that, and move on to something else. It's not going to have staying power, really. Not because I think the game will be underwhelming, but just because, like, that's just kind of how it goes on the internet. Like, people focus on you for a little bit before they get bored and move on to something else. Like, that's just kind of how it goes. I made Hello Neighbor Reborn for people like me. People like me who have been around and following Hello Neighbor for the past 10 years and were disappointed by the final full release of the game and wanted something that was more in line with what was advertised during the prototype and pre-alpha era. I'm not making it for little children who discovered Hello Neighbor 3 weeks ago and are now, sitting here and acting like they know what makes the best Hello Neighbor fan game. I'm not saying that arguments about H&R not being a good game are invalid, obviously. Again, there are going to be people who say it's not a good game, and I understand that. This other fan game developer, despite him being a D1 hater of Hello Neighbor Reborn, when I asked him his issues for the game, he gave me 3 things that he didn't like. He could not name anything else. He didn't say, oh, the puzzle design is flawed. Actually, no, he did say that, but not to me. He said it behind my back when he was talking shit. He said that the philosophy behind the game is bad, or the mindset behind the game was bad. But when I asked him directly what his issues with the game were, I got 3 things, and none of them were that. The 3 things that he listed were entirely subjective. But again, if you want to criticize H&R or say it's a bad game, that's fine. Leave it in my Discord. That's what it's there for. I have a feedback channel, literally for feedback. Like I said, I do have an issue, though, with people coming in here and acting as if, their word is objective truth and I have to follow it 1-to-1, otherwise everything I ever do and say is bad. I've had interactions with Nikita directly, and he seems like such a genuinely nice guy. And the fact that his community is full of so many shitty people like this is just upsetting. Maybe I deserved to be shit-talked. Maybe I deserved that. But my friends sure didn't. Hello Neighbor Reborn Rewritten Day was supposed to be a really big day for me. It was supposed to be an exciting day, new update after a year of development. Like, oh my god, this is awesome. But it was probably one of the worst days of the year. So much shit happened that day. That's when I found out that someone who was working with me was shit-talking me. It was probably one of the worst days I've had this year. Not long before that, as well, I had 2 people in my family die on the same day. So with the, with the impact of that, as well as, everything that happened on Rewritten Day, that shit sucked. And also, I want to say, I know a lot of people, I've seen some people, not really a lot, but I've seen some people say, I'm kind of disappointed with Rewritten. Bonifan had a year to work on the game, and I feel like he could have done more in that time. I do want to also specify that during that year, I wasn't spending the entire year working on H&R, right? I would say out of that whole year that I was working on it, I want to say maybe 7 months, 8 months of that entire time was spent actively working on the game. The other 4 or 5 months were me either taking a break or working on something else or, just not actually doing anything. Some days I'd open the project and then, just doom scroll on TikTok because I couldn't find the motivation to actually do anything. I probably could have had more in a year. I probably could have released it a lot earlier. But things take time. And things don't always go as smoothly as you predict them to. There was a point when I unironically said, that Rewritten would release before the end of 2025. We can all see how that turned out. And also, I've seen people say that I use spite as a motivator way too much when working on H&R. And I've seen people say that H&R is turning into a spite game. Yes, those people are right. H&R is a spite game. But here's the thing. Every single old art Hello Neighbor fan game that claims to be doing the same thing, reverting Hello Neighbor back to when it was good, is also working on a spite game. They are using spite as a motivator to develop their game. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that people are using spite as motivators for Hello Neighbor fan games. People making games out of spite can lead to some great things. For instance, have you ever heard of a little game called Five Nights at Freddy's? Have you ever wondered how that game came to be? The whole reason Five Nights at Freddy's even exists is because people told Scott that his old games looked too scary and looked like animatronics instead of organic, anthropomorphic characters. Spite can lead to good things being created. I don't know why it's a bad thing that H&R is a spite game. Yeah, it is. And so is every other Hello Neighbor fan game. For anyone who wants to call me a LARPer, I got this thing back in I think this is 2017. I think this is before the game came out. I'm pretty sure. I got this from GameStop. So if you want to call me a LARPer, no. But I think that's everything I wanted to say. I just wanted to come on here and just kind of give an update as to how I've been doing over the past year, what's been going on the past year, to hopefully give you some understanding. And hopefully remind you that I am also a person. It's been a shitty few years, not just for me, but for everybody. And the world is in a really bad place right now, but you don't have to be a part of that. Together, we can turn things around. And that goes, like I said, for the Hello Neighbor community as well. You know, all of you, I think the Hello Neighbor community is in a really shitty place. But I think if all of you band together and bond over the common interest that you share, like a community should, things can get better. And I don't see the point in arguing over the best Hello Neighbor build. People glaze the pre-alpha too much. People glaze alpha 1 too much. People glaze alpha 2 too much. Who cares, guys? These games are 10 years old. They're all shitty. They're all just testing builds. They're not even full games. Why the fuck are we arguing over them? And the reason I say that is because obviously we all know that the pre-alpha is the best one and alpha 1 is the worst. That's not even true. I prefer alpha 2 over the pre-alpha, so that's not even true. So don't take my word on that. But anyway, that's all I want to say. I hope that my words stick with you in some capacity, or maybe they don't, and you think I'm just a man baby who's crashing out. Who knows? I didn't want to make this video just to rant about, you know, my struggles in life, because I do recognize that I'm not the only person who has struggles. There are plenty of people out there who struggle way harder than I do, who don't have a platform to vent their frustrations. I'm mainly making this video just to be fully transparent with everybody and just to let you all know what's been going on the past year. But I don't ever intend to just use my platform to just vent about my struggles. If I make a video like this, you must know something bad happened in order for me to make a video like this. This video is the culmination of everything that I've been through over the past year and a half. I'm just some 19-year-old high school graduate living in the Midwest who just enjoys sitting in his room and sharing his creative passions with people. So the fact that you people are out there willing to support me, it means a lot to me, seriously. And I will never take any of you for granted. If you've watched this far into the video, just know that I greatly appreciate you, and I will never take any of you for granted. But yeah, I will get back into making YouTube videos soon. I have a whole bunch of videos I want to work on, and a whole bunch of things I want to do, so I will be working on those on the side. I will try to get some more consistent uploads out, because I haven't had a consistent upload schedule in like 5 years. So I want to try and have a consistent upload schedule, and I don't know when that'll be, but my goal, I think I've said this in the past, but my goal is going to be one video every 2 weeks. I'm going to try to do that. Maybe if I can get really consistent, one video a week. But we'll have to see if it ever comes to that point. But I will continue working on things, and I'm hoping, you know, that you'll stick around. And if you have any questions about anything that I talked about in this video, or like the future of my channel or whatever, you know, feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to answer. If there's anything you want to talk about it in the comments, talk about it in my Discord server, you know, it's a safe space. You know, feel free to talk about whatever you want to. With that all said, I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you again sometime in the future. See ya.